pleasant day, everyone, especially on our instructor. And I am Riza Soropolino, and this is the learning concept and models theories of learning. So, there are 5 primary educational learning theories. So, one is behaviorism, cognitive, constructivism, humanism, and connectivism. So first, we have behaviorism. It's only concerned with observable stimulus-response behavior. So as they can be studied in a systematic and observable manner. So cognitive learning relies on both external factors like information or data and internal thought process. So now, constructivism, the learner builds upon his or her previous experience and understanding to construct a new understanding. So humanism is a learner-centric approach in which the potential is the focus than the method or materials. Connectivism informed by the digital age. So connectivism departs from constructivism by identifying and recommending gaps in knowledge. So now we have a principle of learning. First, effort management planning. So this is the idea that ability determines what and how. Ito yung kung paano natin i-manage yung pagpaplano natin sa ating community training. So we have also a participation. During the learning process, the learner's active participation should be permitted and encouraged. Dapat ma-encourage natin sila na makipag-participate sa ating training sa ating community. So we have repetition. One of the most important aspect of learning is allows individual to practice in repeat. So we have also a relevance. Learning is aided when the material that is taught is meaningful and relevant to the learners. Ito ay dapat yung community training na ito ba ay talagang meaningful sa kanila, sa mga tao. So ito yung relevance ng pagpaplano natin. So we have also a transference because the training takes place in a unique environment. So it's critical to assess if what yours you learn will apply into real world. So, dapat aware tayo kung ano ba yung kailangan sa community nila o ano ba yung problem nila. Dapat magkaroon tayo ng principle of learning. So, that is the effort management, planning, participation, repetition, relevance, transference. So, dapat meron din tayong socializing and sa ating community. So, that is the principle learning in our community. That we have an education, that awareness of every problem of the community and the people.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jocelyn Rodriguez Nangit, and now I will discuss the topic all about what are the concepts of learning. Concepts of learning can be found through our reflections on the mechanism of how knowledge relates to realities and society. There are 3 core concepts of learning. 1. Constructivism. 2. Bloom's taxonomy. 3. Epistemology. Number 1 is yung constructivism. What is constructivism? Constructivism is attempts to strive for meaning as social and attempts to develop a personal understanding through reflection, analysis, and a gradual building of layers or depths of knowledge. Number 2, Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom's taxonomy, which uses a set of 3 hierarchical levels of cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domains. In it, one of the most recognized learning theories in the field of education. And the lastly is epistemology. Epistemology is the rationalization and justification of knowledge, considering all factors of education's life and society. This called also to be traced back to Plato in this academy. But a more contemporary example would be from the ideas of John Locke, who suggests that knowledge is founded on the grounds of ideas and actions which provide the innate ability of human being to understand.
Good day, ma'am. I'm Ray Francis Giovanni Makahipay, and here's the perspective of uh, learning concept and models theory of learnings. According sa website na nag-research ka, ma'am, learning is defined as a process of that brings together personal and environmental experiences and influences for acquiring, enriching, or modifying one knowledge, skills, values, attitudes, behaviors, and worldviews. Ibig sabihin po nito, ma'am, yung learning isa siyang proseso ng kuha natin ng mga knowledge o kung paano tayo mag-isip, makakuha ng mga panibagong skills, kung paano ano ba to? Makibagay when it comes sa behavior. Dapat ah, ano tayo, yung alam natin kung paano mag-act ng tama po. Pag kasama po yun sa learning skills, I mean sa process yun ng learning po. And uh, learning has a characteristic ang learning sa amin ay characteristics, ma'am. Isa na po dito yung learning daw is unitary with the learner response is as a whole person in unified way to the whole situation. This includes intellectual, emotional, and includes intellectually, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Yan po. And learning is social and unique, so an effective health educator must be considered the variations and differences among learner and provide health information accordingly. Ibig sabihin po, yung learning is big sa amin social kasi nakikala mo pagdating po sa community organizing po, uh, yung mga practicum po, ma'am, di ba po sila yung mga nag-organize ng mga event ganyan, di ba, nagkakanak ng mga seminar or what else. Kasama po yun doon kaya po siya naging social and unique, so effective educator must be. Kino-consider din po siya as variations. Ibig sabihin, iba-iba rin yung bawat mga learners po and provide health informations. Then learners din po is purposive. Means pag purposive po, may goal po. Ibig sabihin, pag ikaw as a practitioner, pag nagkanda ka ng mga mag-organize ka, o nagtuturo ka, or kakanta ka ng nagbibigay ka ng mga knowledge, ganyan. Sa ikaw, practitioner, dapat meron ka pong goals. Kasi according here na learning is purposive. That means that learning is moving toward a goal or end results. And learning is a personal process that involves listening, visualizing, recalling, memorizing, reasoning, and using judgment thinking. Ibig sabihin po nito, ma'am, yung isa dito yung learning is self-active po. Dapat siyempre ikaw as a learner po, dapat active ka, meron kang makinig ganyan, with recalling, memorizing, reasoning, and use judgment and thinking po. Dapat as a learner, gano'n ko pa rin po. And as a practitioner or educator po, dapat gano'n din. Kasi na 'pag nagkakanta ka ng mga organizing po, ganyan, 'di ba po pare-pare ay ah, tayo din nasa educator or ah, practitioner, ganyan, pagdating when it comes sa organizing po, community organizing, nakakakuha rin tayo ng knowledge sa mga people po. Tapos learning is creative po. For each individual, learning is not merely a summing up of previous knowledge and experience. It is a creative putting together of all the knowledge and experiences of the learner. Ibig sabihin, ang learner po is a creative, which means you as a practitioner po, or sa knowledge, knowledge, I mean, sa community educating and training po, or sa magkanda ka ng mga organizing po, ganyan. Dapat marunong ka rin gumawa ng mga bagay na magiging active po sila, yung mga, I mean, magiging creative po yung mga tinuturuan mo po, yan. And lastly po, yung learning is transferable po, meaning that bad or influence information about one issue may be transferred to other types of knowledge, potentially affecting the future. Ibig sabihin po, ikaw po, pag mag-share ka ng knowledge mo, lahat po yun, pwede po mang-transfer, and ibig sabihin po, transferable siya, maaaring ma-share po sa iba pa. Kaya dapat po, when you share your knowledge, or magkanda ka ng mga seminar, as a practitioner po, ganyan, dapat po maging tayo, aware, or maging careful po, or mag-ingat sa mga binibigay po nating mga knowledge, kasi may pick the future po. And yun lang po, ma'am. Thank you po.
I am here to discuss anti-oppressive practice. So, oppression is prevalent in our society. So, laganap nga yung pang-aabuso, pang-api, pananakit sa ating society. Yan po yung ina-address ng anti-oppressive practice. So, bakit nga ba meron tayong ganon? So, as a social work practitioner, so we have a moral, ethical responsibility to challenge inequality and disadvantage. So, yung profession natin na ito ay nag-a-attempt to explain and to understand at mag-offer ng solution sa mga difficulties and experiences ng mga grupo sa society at even individual na ma-address yung oppression na nararanasan ng isang society. So, therefore, your anti-oppressive principles ay nagpo-provide sa social workers ng tools para maintindihan at makapag-response sa complexity of the experience of oppression. So, according sa Akil et al. 2021, so yung para sa kanila, yung anti-oppressive practice daw ay nagre-recognize nga ng oppressions na nag-i-exist sa society. At para ito ay dahil ma-equalize yung power imbalances society. So it also recognizes that all forms of oppression are interconnected in the same way, shape, and form. So, yun po. Ay naman kay Clifford 1995, so nag-formulate siya ng anti-oppressive principles na nagpo-provide ng foundation. So, the foundation for a social work assessment. So, kaya meron siyang anti-oppressive principles. So, yun yung social differences, linking personal and political power. Then, historical and geographical location. Merong reflexivity, mutual involvement. So, sa social differences, ito na yung pagkakaiba-iba natin sa society. Based sa race natin, ethnicity, gender, religion, and even sa mental health natin. So, yan yung socially different natin. Then sa linking personal and political. So lahat tayo ito po yung relationship natin sa social system. So syempre sa society merong family, friends. So saan tayo doon? So saan tayo nandun? Ano yung group natin? So syempre meron tayong family, may mga circle of friends din tayo. Sa society merong mga communities. So yun po yung then yung power, so influence daw po yun ng social, cultural, and economic, and psychological factor. So sa historical and geographical location naman, so yung individual experiences and ay naka-place sa merong specific time and experience. So, yun daw yun siya. So, yung reflexivity and mutual involvement, yun na po yung interaction between individual. So, sinasabi po dyan sa reflexivity and mutual involvement, hindi lang dapat ina-address yung interaction only psychological term, kundi, but also as a matter of sociology, history, ethics, and politics. So that's all.
Good day, I am Bernice Jamel Gutierrez Magbanwa. Amelia had left home at the age of 16 and a year later began living with a man who became violent towards her when she was pregnant. After her son's discharge from hospital, Amelia felt overwhelmed when her son became ill. The combination of feeling unable to cope with living alone, the lack of any nursery placement, and her disclosure as a request for help that she had attempted to harm her culminated in him being taken back into care. And now we are talking about theory into process. The theory into practice includes the 5 principles that have different meanings that we can learn or do in our lives. So we must understand properly what the difference is, and we can use in Amelia's situation what we should do to solve the problem she faced. And it also said here that the anti-oppressive principle is what when we do something, we should think that it will affect our idea and the outcome of a project will be good. It's very important that we know the principles that we can use at any time. All principles are very good. They're your desire and life. Thank you.
Hey mom, good day classmate. So, I am Leonida Garais. The title that represent of our group is an anti-oppressive practice. Based on the story that she have with which is she is 16 years na nakipag-live in, and then toward here nagkaroon siya ng anak hanggang sa nanganak siya ng premature within 3 months, and then nang dahil doon nagkaroon din siya ng depression. Kumbaga, nagkakaroon siya ng process na hindi dapat. And yun, kailangan siyang alalayan at tulungan na makaalis doon sa situation na yon, and kung paano siya matutulungan. Dahil sa situation niya, hindi niya masabi sa ibang tao kung ano yung nangyayari sa kanya dahil sa nahihiya siya kung bakit ganun yung mga nararanasan niya. But in that process, as a social work student, maraming decision ang kailangan gawin. It means, the scenario to formulate kung paano siya pangalagaan at kung paano siya matutulungan, which is put forward adoptions to give a solutions for Amalia's problems to need be analyzed. So their decisions appears to be highly influenced by the expert, so evidence, which focus on Amalia's psychiatric and psychological functioning. The challenge is also to the workers is to examine the range of evidence and use the decision making to asking questions about why any one piece of evidence is given more weight than another. So those the whitening pathologies, the individual by not taking into account the assessment is made by other professions of professional support or such as health visitors and the foster cares. For example, the support offered by the extended family and informal community support network considered by ignoring the impact the oppressive social values and fallacies in the decision-making process. The worker can further devalue the service user capacity to function. It also addressing power and powerlessness. It is essential to understand how the differential access the power shapes and determine the relationship of an individual's group, community, organizations, and social level. So we get a grapes or Amalia's feelings of powerless when she see, I do not know how I can fight any of this. So it is a central power. It is the lack of access to many social resources. So there is an evidence in Amalia's story of her being denied access to the resources. So the fields will help here to parent effectively. As a worker, as a social worker, student, so we need to take into account or actions as a professional based on the power na ibinibigay as a particular social division members. So, sa paghawak at kung ano ang mga dapat gawin para mas maayos yung mga experiences. And then, how do you as a worker? For me, as a worker is not situations called have advocate on behalf of Amalia working creatively to explore another options. So, which is would have support here to parenting on a person that the workers ignored the professional strengths of Amalia's gain from her experience of oppressions leading to practice which is compounded her feelings of powerlessness. So, a social worker are well placed to make the assessment that are theoretically informed or holistic, empowered, and challenging. So anti-oppressive is a practice should not negate the rest posed to the children. So interventions based on anti-oppressive practice incorporate arrest and need to analyze of both mother and children.
Principles of community education. Community education provides the local residents, community agencies, and institutions the opportunity to become the active partners in addressing community concerns. It is based on the following principles. The first one is self-determination, where local people is the best position to identify the community needs and wants. Parents, as children's first and most important teachers, have both the right and responsibility for their children's education. Next is the self-help. People are best served when their capacity in helping themselves are encouraged and enhanced. When people assume ever-increasing responsibility on their own well-being, they acquire independence rather than dependence. Next is the leader development. The identification, development, and use of leadership capacities of local citizens are prerequisites for ongoing self-help community development efforts.
Localizations, services, programs, events, and other community involvement opportunities that are brought closer to where people live have a greatest potential for a high level of public participation. Whenever possible, these activities should be decentralized to location of easy public access. Next, the integrated delivery of services. Organizations and agencies that operate for a public good can use their limited resources, meet their own goals, and better serve the public by establishing close working relationship with other organizations and agencies with related purposes. Third, the maximum use of resources. The physical, financial, and human resources of every community should be interconnected and used to their fullest if their diverse needs and interests of the community are to be met.
Then the next is inclusiveness. Okay, it is the segregation or the isolation of people by age, income, sex, race, ethnicity, religion, and other factors inhibits the full development of the community. And also community programs, activities, and service should involve the broadcast cross-section of the community residents. And then next is responsiveness. Okay, it is a public institution have a responsibility to develop a program and services response to the continually changing needs and interests of their constituents. Then the last is lifelong learning. It is a learning at birth and continuous until death. Okay, there are two learning opportunities that should be available to all residents of all ages in a wide variety of community settings. It is the formal and the non-formal learning opportunities. Okay, that's all for principles in community education.
Morning, I am Phoebe Grace S. Delugok of Bachelor of Science in Social Work. Now I'm going to report to you about of the various perspectives of inclusive education. What is inclusive education? It is a new approach towards educating the children with or without disability under the same roof. Ibig sabihin, ito yung pag-educate ng parents sa children inside of their house. Kasi, ang learning ng isang bata is dapat nag-start talaga sa tahanan. And dapat with or without disability, it should be fair na magkaroon sila ng learning both. It requires to take care of learning needs of all children with a specific focus on those who are vulnerable to marginalization and inclusion. Because educating your children can help them to learn new things na kailangan naman nila para sa kanilang buhay, lalo-lalo na dun sa mga nangangailangan na bata, yung may disability, kailangan nilang ma-educate galing sa parents, pwede din sa ate, kuya, ganun. So that magkakaroon sila ng learnings bago sila lumaki. For example, sa childhood learning nila. Una, 'di ba, yung bata ay matututong mag-observe muna kasi syempre bata pa, wala pang matinong isip. Hindi pa buo yung isip nila, pag-iisip. Tapos after nun, magka-curious na sila. So makikurious na sila because of their curiosity. They will ask people around them about of their curiosity to be solved or masolusyonan or malaman nila. They will start kung ano yung nakikita nila, they will imitate it until they can manage how to do that. There are two distinct perspectives on inclusive education. First, emerging largely from the developed countries, and second, owning to the felt needs and circumstances prevailing in the developing world. Yung inclusive education is kailangan talaga. Kasi yung inclusive, nabibilang niya siya dun sa sa ibang lugar, which is yung the richest countries. Lahat, karamihan naman kasi talaga ganun. And then, second is owning to felt and need and circumstances prevailing in the developing world. At dahil developing world, yung situation is kailangan na rin talagang matuto ng mga kabataan ng mga bagay-bagay para naman ma-develop ang ating mundo. Kasi sabi nga nila, the kabataan is the pag-asa ng bayan, sabi nga ni Dr. Jose Rizal. And sa ibang bansa, sa mga developed countries, yung mga girls and disadvantaged and ethnic groups lang yung nakakapag na-educate ng isa-isang bahay. Yun lang po. Thank you.
Inclusive education means all children in the same classroom, in the same schools. It means learning opportunities for groups who have traditionally been excluded, not only children with disabilities, but speakers of minority languages too. So there are principles for inclusive education. The first one is the teaching all students. Students learn in different ways. It is therefore important to develop the skills to teach in different ways. Also exploring multiple identities, which building confidence and affirming identity for students support their learning. And then the next one is preventing prejudice. All of us are influenced by the legacy of institutionalized inequalities that permeate history as well as the stereotype ideas and images we encountered rather every day. And then the promoting social justice. Young people are good judges of what is or is not fair. Talk to students about issues of fairness and of justice or injustice in terms of equality for all. And then choosing appropriate materials. It is important to choose books and materials that reflect accurate images of diverse peoples. And then teaching and learning about cultures and religions. It is important that students learn about other cultures and religions in a positive and comfortable manners. And then the last one is adapting and integrating lessons appropriately. It is important that educators be flexible in the adaptation of all the lessons.
Isara Casiano. So we are present the inclusive education. So we are assigned the concept of education. So inclusive education values diversity and the unique contributes each student brings to the classroom. And a truly inclusive setting, every child feels safe and has a sense of belonging. So students and their parents participate in setting learning goals and take part in decisions that affect them. So the concept of inclusion. So inclusions is a philosophy that urges schools, neighborhoods, and communities to welcome and values everyone, regardless of differences. So central to the philosophy of inclusions are the beliefs that everyone belongs diversity and value, and we can all learn from each other. So for me is education is the flexibility. Learning is not a goal in itself, but to improve learning experiences and learning outcomes. But education is for all, which includes children with disabilities. The process of inclusive education has started, but much needs to be done to achieve their desired results. And the philosophy behind the implementations of the inclusions models does not prioritize, but still provides for the utilizations of special classroom and special schools for the education of students with disabilities.